There's no customer loyalty in lending, and it's the lender's fault. A provocative statement perhaps, but one which we think is true. We think that lenders are fundamentally focused on originating new customers rather than retaining their existing ones. This has a massive impact on their profitability, depressing it by up to 50%. For a typical large lender in the UK, that equates to tens of millions of pounds of profit and ultimately potentially £100 million worth of enterprise value. Now, this isn't because the lenders don't want to retain their existing customers, nor that the existing customers don't want to be retained by the lenders. It's more that they don't have the technology available to facilitate the production of appropriate offers that are tailored to those customers and then delivered to them. We're Nostrum Group. We're the UK's leading provider of automated digital loan management technology, and we have a solution to this problem, which we're going to present today. I'm going to hand over to Tom, our token millennial, who's going to take us through the customer aspects of the journey, and then once we've done that, we'll go through some of the behind-the-scenes activity. Over to you, Tom.
Thanks, Richard. So I've got a notification or a message to say that I've been pre-approved for a top-up on my loan, so I'm just going to log in now. Typing on the screen, very easy. So it says here that I've been pre-approved and I can borrow up to £1,000 at a lower interest rate. So I'm going to click continue. I actually don't need £1,000, so the first thing I'm going to do is just alter this to 700 for a new TV I'd like. And I think I can pay that back over 12 months. And the purpose is other, because it's for a new television. So that says I'm basically only paying £50 more and at a much lower interest rate. It's asking for my password again, so I'll just type that in again. And here we're just performing the underwriting rules, and I've been approved. The money's on its way.
That's great. Thanks very much, Tom. So from a customer journey, that was remarkably swift. Tom's just got another few £100 on the way to his bank account straight away. He was targeted with a very specific offer to him, which reduced his interest rate from 17.9% down to 11.9% as well, and granted him the opportunity to take more funding. We'll have a look now at what's been happening behind the scenes with that as we log back in. So first, the offer. The offer has been made automatically by our system, which has taken some primary data, looking at how Tom has managed his account already on our platform, combined it with a soft credit reference agency search, pulled all of that information together in order to come up with the eligibility for Tom to take this new offer. Once we've got that, that has then been presented to Tom, in our case through a notification, though it could also have been through a text message or an email, or as indeed, as we'll see in a moment, as a splash page as Tom logs in. Now, the trigger that created that new offer or notification for Tom could have been anything. It could be that he'd previously looked at his account a couple of months ago. It could be that he requested a settlement quotation on his loan, or even if you've got a retailer using iBeacon technology, it could be that he just happened to walk past the store or enter the store where he'd previously bought some equipment. So the functionality here, as you can see, allows Tom to select the loan attributes that he really wants for this top-up facility. This is all driven through REST web APIs directly from our platform, and as you can see, as Tom moves the slider around, it's dynamically recalculating the repayment amounts there and giving Tom much more flexibility to model a deal very specifically to his own requirements. Once he's selected that, he then moves on and defines the purpose for the loan if he chooses. And then what we now require is for Tom to authorize that transaction. Now, ordinarily, to comply with the FCA regulations in the UK, At this point, we'd need to present Tom with 10, 12 pages of quite densely typed loan documentation. So for those of you in the UK familiar with it, it's the terms and conditions, the loan contracts, the SECI, the adequate explanations, etc. That's going to take some time for Tom to read through. The way in which we've structured Tom's original loan is very much like a revolving credit agreement. So he can very simply just draw down new funds without having to sign a new credit agreement, which takes out all of the friction associated with that process. So here, Tom just enters his password, and then we're into the final stages of doing a full credit reference search, doing some fraud checking to ensure that Tom is the person who we think he is, we're using the right device, through the right access mechanism, etc. And then once that's done, the money is on the way. So all of that process is wholly automated by the Nostrum platform. So if you look at that from Tom's journey, it's perfect. He's been made an offer for credit that he probably requires because the system has identified that he's been looking at credit. From the lender's perspective, they've managed to retain Tom for a longer period of time. So they now have him for a further 12, maybe 18, 24 months, making more interest income in absolute terms over a longer period from him. And they have the opportunity now to build trust and loyalty with Tom so that that lender becomes Tom's first port of call when he next requires some funding. We're Nostrum Group. We're working hard to make lending cheaper, faster, and safer. Thank you very much.